Gabriel was intrigued about what a red gal was, mainly because the T in the middle was pronounced with a click. It sounded so exotic. "What's that? What is it?" asked Nish, panic creeping in. She moved her feet from the water and sat as far away from the ocean as she could on the swim deck. "Pista, get out," she told her daughter.
"Don't worry about it, they're harmless," Piotala explained. "Better than harmless, very gentle and helpful. Known to help people lost at sea," they added, checking that the bucket was full.
"But what if they bite by accident?" Nish countered, tugging at Pista's safety line, though it was far harder than Gabriel made it seem.
"Wouldn't matter, they've got no teeth and their jaws couldn't crush paper,"
Piotala replied, mixing the tiny baitfish and small protein blocks contained in the bucket. If all went to plan, the tourists would get to feed the animals, swim with them, and Piotala would get a 5-star review.
"Erila, Rosati, get over here! You're not going to want to miss this!"
Piotala cried, trying to get the two lovers back to the boat. They were in their own little world. However, Piotala tried again, but their voice would not carry far enough to notice. "Erila, get your backsides over here!" Gabriel screamed, causing Nish, Pista, and Piotala to cover their ears. "Coming!" Erila called back. "Where did that come from?" asked Nish. "How by the desert could someone so small make a noise so big? Every day with this man just gave her something new to be in awe of. She was not sure if it was incredible or exhausting." Gabriel just shrugged in response. Nish had learned it meant either ignorance or apathy, sometimes a mixture of both. "Again," Pista said with a trill. Gabriel shook his head and replied, "No, it hurts my throat." "What? What's so important?" Rosati asked, bobbing up and down.
"We've got visitors coming,"
Piotala explained, climbing down the ladder to the swim deck. It was some sight watching a person with 5 legs move vertically, like watching a machine moving in a jerky yet precise fashion.
"And there they are,"
Piotala added, pointing to a sparkle on the horizon. Gabriel looked. It was hard to tell at first, but the spark grew closer, and he realized that red gull were leaping from the water, and Gabriel immediately thought of dolphins and porpoise. As the shapes became more distinct, it was clear they were no dolphins. Over 6 meters long and 9 meters wide, they were more like giant manta rays, their wings allowing them to glide, however briefly, above the waves. Their skin was counter-shaded, a pale cream underneath, while the upper half was a gorgeous light blue, with distorted dark stripes running from wingtip to wingtip. "They're approaching very fast," Nish said, edging towards the ladder. Pista, Rosati, even Erila and Gabriel were unnerved. Gabriel held onto Pista's flotation ring, ready to put her on the swim platform if need be. He did not doubt Piotala's claims, but an animal as large as that did not have to want to hurt someone to do it. Even Gabriel would need to be careful. These Redgal outnumbered him by some margin. Once the animals were above 20 meters from the boat, they stopped leaping and sank beneath the surface. Gabriel dove to get a better look. They circled the vessel, steadily getting closer with each rotation. It was strange, the motion reminded him of sharks, while the Redgal themselves were so much like rays that Gabriel's brain could not decide whether it was cute or frightening. One of the beasts broke away from the pod and swam directly at Gabriel. Acting more on instinct than rational thought, Gabriel swam to the surface, only to find that he did not need to. The Redgal positioned itself underneath him and gently pushed him back to the surface. Clicks and squeaks erupted from the pod, and they all drew closer. The one that had helped Gabriel surfaced behind him, and Gabriel noticed that it had 4 eyes, 2 on top of his head, and 2 more facing forward. It was odd. These animals were not predators, or rather they were not active predators, being filter feeders. So why would they have eyes on the tops of their heads rather than underneath to watch for threats? Even in low gravity, no flying creature would be big and strong enough to haul them out of the water. The Redgal seemed to be able to read Gabriel's mind, as the eyes left the body and were now supported on long stalks. Retractable eyes. They could be tucked in for efficient travel and extended when looking for something, Gabriel said, as the sizable, well-sized animal started to gently gum his arm.
"Got it in one. You're quite the detective, Gabriel,"
Piotala said, throwing a handful of feed into the mouth of one of the animals.
"Everyone grab a handful and feed their favourite Torjork," they added.
"Oh, what?" asked Erila.
"It's what the Redgal are, a type of Torjork,"
Piotala explained, as Pista grabbed some feed from the bucket. "Oh, like how a lion is a type of cat," Gabriel said with a nod. He also took some bayfish and placed them into the mouth of the Redgal that had been kind enough to help him. Its maw was filled with what looked like baleen, but was far softer. "Not sure what a cat or a lion is, but I think I get the principle," Erila replied, thinking about some of the animals native to Bosd. "They're native to your homeworld, aren't they?" said Nish, inching closer to the water's edge. All her previous concerns started to melt away as Nish looked into their adorable eyes. She even took some feed and gave it to the smallest of the pod.
Another person with a brain in their head,
Piotr said, lying down, stroking one of the red girl's heads. Got any facts? Asked Rizzotti, a warm, fuzzy feeling well up in her when she learnt the red girl she was feeding loved to be stroked at the base of the eye stalk. It let out a honking click sound, closing its eyelids in joy.
They're invertebrates, got no backbone, but they do have a semi-rigid plate in their torso, sort of like an internal shell,
Piotr explained, trying their best to recall all the facts they gave the tourists.
Very clever, live in multi-generational pods led by an alpha male and a female, who are always the oldest. The alphas don't have sole breeding rights. Pods break up when they visit the shallows so they can do some exploring, but they always stick together,
Piotr added, listing off all the facts he knew as quickly as possible and without much flair. It was evident that they would have made for a poor presenter. How long do they live? Asked Erila, who was attempting to edge her way onto one of the red girl's backs. It was having none of it, though. Every time she got close, they would tilt their whole body, and she would slide right off. Don't pester them. They're not here to entertain, Rizzotti told her girlfriend, slapping her in the back. She then let out a sigh and added, I'm starting to get tired. I think I'll join Nish. She's got the right idea. Rizzotti struggled to climb onto the swim platform. A little foray into the big blue had taken more from her than she realized. The red girl was quick to act, however, quicker than even Erila. With a gentle but firm push, she was back on dry land. Sort of. Thank you, Rizzotti said to the animal that had helped her, and the red girl squealed in response. Can they understand us? Asked Rizzotti. The answer had been near perfect, if unintelligible.
No, replied Piotr. They're just used to dealing with people. When you say something to them, they just make noises back. Look.
Piotr then strung some random words together, and just as they said, the red girl replied with more clicks. Gabriel spent much of the day in the water, interacting with their guests, and to his surprise, the red girl remained long after the food had run out. They seemed to genuinely enjoy the company of the land dwellers, and considering they were about as intelligent as dolphins, without the psychopathic tendencies, Gabriel guessed it was not unreasonable. Only when the sun began to set did Gabriel realize he'd been in the water for over 6 hours. With that realization came his hunger, and he reluctantly hauled himself in the ocean. As he looked back to the red girl, who Gabriel could have sworn looked disappointed he was leaving, but perhaps he was anthropomorphizing. As he climbed the ladder, he realized something else as well. Gabriel had had fun. Not just entertainment or interest. He'd been genuinely happy for the first time in who knows how long. And it disgusted him.